Hey everyone, and welcome back to the deep dive. You know how this works.
Yeah.
You send us some interesting sources and we kind of roll up our sleeves and dig into them.
Yeah.
And today we're taking a deep dive into the world of battery development.
Right.
And let me tell you, it's a topic that has really got my circuits buzzing lately.
Okay.
So I have a confession to make.
Mm.
I was recently watching a video by Sabine Hassenfelder,
Okay.
you know, the physicist with that super popular YouTube channel.
Uh-huh.
And she was talking about all the hype around new battery tech. And honestly, she kind of had me convinced that we're miles away from any real breakthroughs.
Mm.
You know, she talked about this thing called the hype cycle,
Yeah.
where new technology gets, all overblown,
Right.
leads to like this burst of excitement. Then it all just fizzles out because the progress isn't actually there.
Right.
And she was super skeptical about the speed of battery development. And she was pointing out that all these press releases you see about like amazing new batteries, they rarely ever turn into anything we can actually use.
Oh, okay.
And she even referenced a research paper that categorizes different battery technologies
Uh-huh.
based on their potential and how long it'll take to bring them to market.
Right.
And according to that paper, things like solid-state batteries are still years away.
Yeah.
And I was starting to think that the future of electric everything was basically on hold.
Well, you know what they say about hype cycles? They're a bit like roller coasters, lots of ups and downs.
That's true.
But while Hassenfelder makes some valid points, she also makes some statements that, frankly, need to be fact-checked.
Oh, really?
For example, she claims that lithium iron phosphate batteries don't even exist yet.
Really? Wait, I'm confused. Don't some electric vehicles already use those kinds of batteries?
Exactly, and it's not just some niche market either.
Oh, okay.
CATL, a massive Chinese battery company, has developed what they call a condensed battery using lithium iron phosphate chemistry.
Uh-huh.
This battery has an energy density of 400 watt-hours per kilogram. To put that into perspective, that's enough to power airplanes, and in fact, they're already doing just that in China.
Really?
Then there's BYD, another leading Chinese company. They've developed the Blade battery, which is also a lithium iron phosphate battery, and they're constantly working on improving it. So to say that lithium iron phosphate batteries don't exist is just plain wrong.
Okay, so maybe Hassenfelder's missing some key developments, but she's a physicist, so I assume she'd done her research.
The thing is, even experts can have blind spots.
Right.
Hassenfelder also dismisses silicon anodes and dry coating as technologies of the future, but guess what? Those are already being used in batteries today.
So are you saying that the batteries powering some electric cars right now are actually more advanced than Hassenfelder suggests? That's kind of a big deal.
It is, and here's another thing she gets wrong. She claims that we need a 15-fold increase in energy density for electric airplanes to be viable. But she seems to have overlooked the fact that there are already electric aircraft like those using CATL's condensed battery that are flying right now using currently available battery technology.
Wow, this is really eye-opening. I was totally on board with her skepticism, but now I'm realizing that there's a whole other side to this story.
Exactly. It's like looking at a puzzle but only seeing a few of the pieces. You need the whole picture to really understand what's going on. For instance, take her comments about NMC cathodes.
Hmm?
She makes it sound like they're a recent development, but NMC cathodes, which stands for nickel manganese cobalt, have been a mainstay in the battery market for over a decade.
Wow.
And when she talks about the lack of progress in lithium-ion batteries, her claims seem to apply mainly to US-based companies, while companies like CATL are making massive strides in battery life and performance.
Okay, you're totally blowing my mind here.
Yeah.
I feel like I need to go back and reevaluate everything I thought I knew about battery development. Is there anything else she got wrong?
You bet for one, Hassenfelder barely touches on the incredible advancements in battery charging speeds. Oh, yeah.
Companies like BYD and CATL have developed batteries that can charge at speeds up to 900 kiloliters.
900.
We're talking about charging your car in minutes, not hours. And for industrial vehicles, we're even seeing 6 MBW charging technology being used.
6 MBW, seriously.
This completely changes the game for electric transportation and energy storage.
So it's not just about how much energy a battery can hold, it's also about how quickly you can charge it and what kind of charging infrastructure is available. It seems like the landscape is changing way faster than Hassenfelder is letting on.
Exactly. And remember all the worries about battery degradation? Those are fading fast.
Yeah.
CATL actually offers a 1,000,000-kilometer warranty on their commercial batteries that shows just how far we've come in terms of battery life and reliability.
Okay, this is a lot to take in. I came into this deep dive thinking we'd be talking about futuristic tech that's still years away, but it turns out A lot of it is already here. So much of what Hassenfelder presented as being in the distant future is actually happening right now. It's a great example of why we do these deep dives. You can't just rely on one source, even if it's from someone with a huge following. You have to look at the full picture, consider multiple perspectives, and dig beneath the surface.
Absolutely. I have to admit, I was initially really swayed by Hassenfelder's video, but now I'm seeing how important it is to dig deeper and not take everything at face value.
Right.
It's clear that the battery revolution is well underway, and it's far more advanced and complex than I initially realized.
And you know what's even more fascinating? The biggest revolution in battery tech isn't the hype, it's the price. The cost of batteries has dropped dramatically in recent years, making electric cars more and more affordable. And this affordability is driving the widespread adoption of mega batteries for energy storage, which is fundamentally changing the energy landscape.
This is exactly why I love doing these deep dives. It's so easy to get caught up in a single narrative, especially when it comes from a popular source. Your insights have been eye-opening. It's clear that the battery revolution is well underway, and it's far more advanced and nuanced than I initially realized. I have to say I'm completely rethinking my understanding of this whole field.
It really underscores the importance of not relying on just one source of information, regardless of how popular or credentialed they may be. Deep dives like this are essential for developing a well-rounded understanding of complex topics.
Absolutely. And to be fair to Hassenfelder, she does end her video with a somewhat humorous prediction that in 5 years we might all be driving cars powered by nuclear fusion reactors.
Yes, and while that prediction might seem far-fetched, it's interesting to note that she completely overlooks other potentially transformative technologies that are quietly developing alongside these hyped-up advancements.
Like what? Give me an example.
Well, consider the advancements in robotic and off-grid storage systems. These technologies are rapidly evolving, yet they receive a fraction of the attention given to, say, solid-state batteries. Robotic systems are becoming increasingly sophisticated, capable of handling tasks that were once thought to be exclusive to humans, and off-grid storage systems are empowering communities and individuals to become energy independent, reducing reliance on traditional power grids.
That's a great point. It's like we're so focused on the shiny new object that we miss the steady progress happening in other areas. So what does this all mean for our understanding of battery development and technological innovation in general?
It means that we need to be critical consumers of information. We need to look beyond the headlines and dig deeper into the research, the real-world applications, and the diverse perspectives that shape these advancements. And perhaps most importantly, we need to remain curious and open to the possibility that the most transformative technologies might not always be the ones making the most noise.
You've given me a lot to think about. It's a reminder that true understanding requires effort, critical thinking, and a willingness to explore beyond the surface.
Exactly. And who knows, maybe those robotic and off-grid storage systems will be the real game changers in the years to come. Or perhaps some other unexpected innovation will emerge from the shadows, reshaping our world in ways we can't even imagine yet.
That's the beauty of it all, isn't it? The future is full of possibilities, and it's up to us to explore them with open minds and a healthy dose of skepticism. And on that note, I think we've reached the end of our battery-powered deep dive.
Indeed, we have.
But before we sign off, I want to leave you with one final thought. What other transformative technologies might be developing under the radar, overshadowed by the current hype cycles?
It's a question worth pondering.
Thanks for joining us on this electrifying journey. Until next time, keep diving deep, keep questioning, and keep exploring.
See you next time. It's a question we should all be asking ourselves, especially when it comes to fields like battery development, where there's so much buzz and it's easy to get swept up in the excitement.
It's funny because Hassenfelder does acknowledge the potential of solid-state batteries.
Right.
But she seems to think they're still a long way off.
Mhm.
What's your take on that?
Well, solid-state batteries are definitely a hot topic, and for good reason. They have the potential to be safer, more energy-dense, and longer-lasting than conventional lithium-ion batteries. However, there are still some significant technical hurdles to overcome before they can be mass-produced and widely adopted.
So it's not just a matter of waiting for the technology to mature. There are actual engineering challenges that need to be solved.
Exactly. For example, one of the biggest challenges with solid-state batteries is finding a solid electrolyte material that can conduct ions efficiently at room temperature. Many of the materials being researched either don't conduct ions well enough or they break down over time. And then there's the issue of manufacturing, producing solid-state batteries at scale is much more complex and expensive than making traditional lithium-ion batteries.
So it's not just about inventing a new type of battery, it's also about figuring out how to manufacture it efficiently and cost-effectively.
Absolutely, and that's why it's important to temper our expectations. Solid-state batteries hold a lot of promise, but they're not going to magically solve all our energy storage needs overnight.
That makes sense. But what about those other technologies you mentioned, like robotic and off-grid storage systems?
Yeah.
How do those fit into the big picture?
Well, those are examples of technologies that are quietly making progress under the radar, while the spotlight is on things like solid-state batteries. Robotic systems are becoming more and more sophisticated, capable of handling tasks that were once thought to be exclusive to humans, including the assembly and maintenance of battery systems.
So robots could potentially play a key role in making battery production more efficient and cost-effective.
Precisely, and off-grid storage systems are becoming increasingly important as more and more people adopt renewable energy sources like solar and wind power. These systems allow you to store excess energy generated during peak production times and use it later when the sun isn't shining or the wind isn't blowing.
It seems like these off-grid storage systems could be a game changer for rural communities or anyone looking to become more energy independent.
Absolutely. And the great thing about both robotic systems and off-grid storage is that they're already being implemented and improved upon. It's not just theoretical research, it's real-world progress.
You know, it's fascinating how interconnected all these technologies are. We started out talking about batteries, but now we're talking about robotics, renewable energy, and even the potential for greater energy independence. It really shows how complex and multifaceted this whole field is.
And that's precisely why it's so important to have these deep dives. We need to look beyond the hype and explore the bigger picture, considering all the different factors and innovations that are shaping the future of energy storage.
I couldn't agree more. You've given me a lot to think about. I came into this deep dive feeling a bit overwhelmed by the hype and the conflicting information out there, but now I feel like I have a much better understanding of the current state of battery technology, the challenges we face, and the exciting possibilities that lie ahead.
That's what we aim for. And remember, the future of technology isn't just about one breakthrough, it's about the convergence of multiple innovations, each building upon the others.
That's a great point. So as we wrap up this deep dive, what's one key takeaway you'd like to leave our listener with?
I'd say this, when it comes to technological advancements, don't just focus on the flashy headlines, dig deeper, explore the interconnectedness of different fields, and keep an open mind to the possibilities that might be unfolding just outside the spotlight.
That's excellent advice, and it perfectly captures the spirit of the topic. The deep dive were all about exploring the nuances, the connections, and the often overlooked aspects of the topics that fascinate us.
And who knows what amazing discoveries await us as we continue to dive deep and challenge our assumptions.
Well said. And on that note, I think it's time to power down for this episode. Thanks for joining us on this electrifying journey into the world of battery development.
It's been a pleasure sharing these insights with you.
And to our listener, we hope you've enjoyed this deep dive. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and keep those batteries charged. And always remember, the most groundbreaking innovations are often the ones we least expect.
That's right. It's those quiet revolutions happening in labs and startups that often end up reshaping our world.
Speaking of quiet revolutions, we didn't even get to touch on how advancements in material science are impacting battery development.
That's a whole other deep dive waiting to happen. Nanomaterials, graphene, new electrolytes, the possibilities are endless.
See, you've got me wanting to learn more already. It's amazing how one deep dive can spark so many new questions and avenues to explore.
That's the beauty of knowledge, isn't it? It's a journey, not a destination.
Well said, and on that note, I think it's time to wrap up this electrifying conversation. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of battery development. We hope you've gained some valuable insights, and maybe even a renewed sense of curiosity about the technologies that are shaping our future.
It's been a pleasure exploring these ideas with you.
And to our listener, we encourage you to keep digging, keep questioning, and keep an open mind. The future of technology is full of surprises, and the most exciting discoveries are often the ones we least expect.
So until next time, stay curious and keep those batteries charged.
See you on the next deep dive.